Welcome back to Beyond the Spectrum. This is Dreem sharing our family's journey with autism with you, and this is episode 28. Before I start today, I think I'm just going to hold off on Mikey's interview so that I can wait for any more questions. I have a few coming in, but since this got out a little bit late with me mentioning the interview and the little talk with him, then I figured I would give it a few more days. So that will probably come out on Saturday when we've had a chance to gather up any more questions that are coming in. So kind of being funny, kind of not. You know how they put trigger warnings on the YouTube videos and the reels and stuff. So I'm putting a trigger warning on here for faith. Sadly, we live in a world where faith can be a serious trigger for people. My faith is public, but it is very personal and very private to me. It is not a religious thing. It is very much a relationship. And I choose to share that in private ways, usually, where the conversations are where there's a lot of respect, there's a lot of love and understanding and patience, and usually in a way that I can convey my heart to someone and I can hear their heart in return. This is different. I have very carefully tried to stay away from it, not because I'm ashamed of it, but because of what I just said, because there's a time and a place where I think it has the most impact. And I choose to be someone who steers away from public debate and steers towards connection. Having said that, this will get into faith today. So if you would prefer to finish this off and not get into that, I will give you a warning when we're going to get into that. And you can just kind of finish it off halfway through this. And then you can go to Mikey and, the other ones tomorrow. But if you would like to hear my heart and the whole thing, please, you're invited to be a part of this with me now. I think yesterday I was sharing about the neat thing that happened with Micah. And we had been really starting to wonder if maybe this farming thing was going to be something that he would like to invest his time in. He really started to have an appreciation and a love for, being able to produce his own fruits, vegetables. He had an experience earlier in life, which I don't have time to go into, that really made an impact when we went to a farm of a man called Paul Gauchi. And it was an incredible experience. And it really made an indelible mark on his heart. And I think that over the years, it's kind of been just waiting there under the soil as a little seed and really just started to kind of grow during this COVID season and after, where he thought, do I want to invest my time in this? Do I want to do this? Well, we had given him opportunities to just say, hey, then let's go start some things. I'm not a farmer. I have done a really good job at killing plants. I did go through seasons where anything that I planted would just be wonderful and a huge bounty. And then I went through this terrible season where everything I touched turned black and died. Thankfully, I'm out of that season and things are now starting to have a wonderful bounty again. So I thought, you know what? I'm not a great teacher. As you know, when I realize my limitations, I know when to pull away and say, I can't teach you, but let me see what I can do to point you in the right direction, to find you places where you can get what you need. So I thought maybe YouTube. He loves YouTube channels and he loves YouTube videos. Let's see if he can just do projects with there. So we tried to support that and it didn't really work. I think the way that Micah's mind works is he really works well with like a mentor, with somebody, a social kind of interaction. He doesn't have to be social in it, but it needs to be that kind of one-on-one or group activity where he's a part of it and he has access to what he needs. He doesn't feel intimidated. He feels very loved and encouraged and he feels ready to try things. And it just needed to be a certain kind of situation that we just had not hit on just yet. There's a local farm near us that two men that we saw worked there, a young man and an older man. I thought they were father-son, but I don't know what they are. And the younger man was around Micah's age, and Micah was really into, kind of working out, and this guy was always working out. And so I drove by one day and I said, Micah, what do you think about this? What do you think about if you go to that farm, next time we stop to get eggs there, ring the doorbell, all that stuff. when the guy comes out, say, hey, are you looking for, and so we planned this out, and he was like, yeah, I think that's a great idea, and this might be where at the end of my work day, I can go volunteer a few hours, a couple days a week, and now I can start learning, the basics in that kind of environment where I'm actually learning, applying, and having that, kind of hands-on tutelage where it's got that feel of, hey, I'm feeding the chickens and then I get to take the eggs home kind of thing. And it also has lower expectations where he doesn't actually have to go do it on his own. He doesn't have to open up his own ranch and, kind of sink or swim. He's doing this on somebody else's ranch where they already know what they're doing, and he's just learning along the way with them in a way that's benefiting them and benefiting him. So, loved it. He loved it. We were going to do it. Every single day that we went there, they were closed. They didn't answer the door. It was just hilarious because we were thinking, we've been going to get eggs from them all the time. All of a sudden, we have this idea and, okay, this is crazy. So one day, we're finally like, maybe that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. Literally the next day here at the camp that we are currently working at, one of the guys in maintenance comes up to Mikey and says, hey, I have a proposal for you. There's a guy who's an older gentleman. He's had a terrible time. He has this big farm. He needs help, blah, blah, blah. Would you be interested? Mikey comes home and tells me, and we're just looking at each other like, are you kidding me? Is this for real? Like, did God just do this for us? And it has been amazing. This man happens to be, I'll say, hi, Joshua. He happens to have his own ranch, and just the series of events that led him. He's got a family that's about 4 hours away, but he lives on his property, does not want to give it up, but he's really struggling because he's older, meets Micah, and just, like I say, if you meet Micah, you just fall in love with him. He's just that kind of guy. And sure enough, within 2 weeks of him meeting Micah and working with him, he happened to come to an event at the camp, and he met Joe. And he said, hey, you're Micah's dad. And Joe's like, yeah, I hear that, he's working out. And Joe comes home to me and he tells me it was an extraordinary experience in that moment because there was a lot of emotions. And this man basically conveyed to Joe that in 2 weeks, Micah has just won him over. He feels like he's like a grandson to him. He's an extraordinary young man. And he just said, I just want to tell you that whatever you were doing, you did a good job. I mean, he is an incredible young man. And, I think Joe said he had tears in his eyes. And just that's the kind of experience that you have when you're with Micah. It's not me being a mom. I'm telling you, that is the kind of person he is. And I believe that it's because of his autism that has helped to shape and transform him into this beautiful, beautiful human being. Who is he now after all this time? He is confident and helpful. He has this infectious giggle that will have you in stitches for 20 minutes. I mean, wheezing because you can't stop laughing together. He could be feisty, but he is considerate and compassionate, and he is incredibly generous. He is so creative. He's written things, and he has come up with ideas, and he is gifted. Is he typical? No, actually, I think he is very rare and not typical in any way. He is one of the most extraordinary people I know. And I can probably easily say the other ones are in my family. Is he normal? That word, normal, comes back to haunt us. Nope. He is not normal, and I am so glad for that. Our family is not your average normal family, and he fits right in. Do I worry still? Yeah, I'm a mom, and I think I'm probably going to worry forever. But do I worry like I did in the beginning? No. I really think I've learned to breathe. And here's that warning for you. So if you don't want to listen anymore, trigger warning, here comes the faith talk. I haven't talked about our faith specifically in these episodes because, it was always there and it always will be. And if you were listening, you probably heard that it was there. Though at times it feels like we're all solving the puzzle before us and we're putting all the pieces together. I know, my husband knows, my kids know, my family knows that it's always Christ that slides those pieces into view for us, because I know that he's faithful and I know that he's trustworthy and I know that he loves us with all that he is. The one who knit Mikey together inside my womb is the same one who handpicked us all for each other. And we live by the faith that all things are working together for our good and for God's glory. And we see it displayed in Technicolor and all the sensory, feely, emotion, everything just displayed in our lives in all manners throughout our life. So, will I always be able to be there for Mikey, to fix things, to translate, to explain, to help, to support, to encourage? Nope. But God will. And that's enough for me. See you tomorrow.